I was born in Congo. When I was 5, a war broke out. Wow. They're arresting some people and putting them in prison. Some people are getting murdered there and then on the spot. But what they was doing is taking children and turning them into like child soldiers. There was a knock on the door and my dad and my mum got taken away.
What was it like for you being 9-year-old, coming to South London?
I was like, I just need to survive, so I just proved my worth. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Yes, there was times where I carried certain things which I shouldn't have carried, but I had to just do whatever I had to survive.
Dangerous man when you've got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
So from 5 to 18, it's been chaos.
Real chaos, yeah.
How many prisons did you do?
I've done about 15 jails. When I touched down in ISIS, I had half the jail on me, Dodge.
On you?
I had half the jail
Why?
on me because I was Rosca. You don't know where I just come from. I just started channeling that and I'm just like, okay, so if you lot want to take it there, like I want to take it 10 times further. Yeah. As soon as we took the bend, helicopters, everything just appeared out of nowhere. I've never seen so much police like this in my life.
What was that feeling like when you were in court and they said you're going to go to prison indefinitely? Rosca, welcome to the show, mate.
Thank you for having me, Dodge.
Yeah, we're finally here.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to this one. Let's roll all the way back. How did you go from living in Congo to get put in prison in the UK indefinitely?
So I was born in Congo, DRC, because there's two Congo. There's Congo Brazzaville and Congo DRC, and DRC is the bigger country, because if they had it all in one, it would have been too big. Yeah. So I was born into a very wealthy family. My dad was an architect, but he had political ties. Yeah. And then when I was 5, a war broke out, you know, and then my dad got arrested, my mum got arrested, and then we got, you know, then me and my sisters just went on our journeys. From there, we went into different camps from Congo, Kinshasa to Congo, Brazzaville, then from Congo, Brazzaville to a camp in Nigeria, then to a camp in Benin. And we spent like 3 years with our parents in refugee camps. And later on, we was able to be reunited with our parents because they fled and came to the UK and seek political asylum, escape wherever they was, and then started searching for us. And luckily, my sister always put our names down in every camp that we went to. And then, yeah, we came with the help of the Red Cross. They tracked us down and we was brought over here to be reunited with our parents. And I had a great life, Dodge. Like, I had an amazing life. You know, my life in Congo was great. Like, we was good. I went to a private school, you know, and I ate good. You know, my dad worked and he used to come back home from wherever he went away for like 2 weeks or whatever, and he'll come back home and bring all sorts of different delicacies. And one of my favorite memories of my dad being that age is when he brought back a crocodile, and I was eating a crocodile with my dad. Right? Yeah. I was eating a crocodile with my dad in the back garden, you know, and it tastes like chicken.
Yeah,
you know?
It does. Yeah.
So so I had a great life, Dodge.
Yeah, mate. So when you were in Congo, what did your both parents get arrested for?
So the coalition was coming in, and what they do is when they come in, if there's a coup or where there's whatever's happening, they go around arresting anyone that's got political ties to the other government that just, you know, that's on their way out. And my mum was like half Rwandan, so and different stuff. And like I said, my dad had, you know, political ties and different things like that. So yeah, they just got arrested for being connected to the party that was being, you know, that was under attack.
So when they get arrested, like what happens out there in Africa and Congo, then they get arrested. Are they literally saying, right, we're taking you away from your kids? Are they arresting you and putting them in prison? Are they arresting them and how did it work?
They're arresting some people and putting them in prison. Some people are getting murdered there and then on the spot. Like if you look at what's happening right now in Burkina Faso, with Captain Toure, there's been a lot of different things happening with coups and things like that. So all these things happen, you know, and yeah, it's just crazy to me, you know.
How old were you when you knew your parents got arrested?
I was 5.
Okay. Did you know what was going on?
I didn't really have a clue. I didn't really understand it. I remember hearing gunshots going off, and we had a massive house, and where we lived behind us was train tracks. So I remember my dad climbing the ladder to see what was happening, because the soldiers was coming into the capital through the train tracks and stuff. So my dad climbed up the ladder, so I climbed up after him, being being a boy and you want to see what's happening. So I climbed the tree to see what's happening, and there's people getting shot. There's all these different things happening. And I remember a bullet went past us and hit the house, and my dad's like, get down. So I got down, and then after about, I can't remember how long, there was a knock on the door, and my dad and my mum got taken away.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
And how many brothers and sisters you got?
We had 2 sets of twins in our family, and I had a sister called, I had 2 sisters. I've got, as it stands now, I've got 6 sisters, and I'm the only boy.
Okay.
So I'm surrounded by women.
When you were taken away, was it your 6 sisters and you were taken away by who?
So my dad managed to get word out to his friends, and they came and got me and my sisters.
Yeah.
And then took us to the neighboring side of Congo where all these people was walking. So as you can imagine, when you're walking and you're fleeing a war-torn country and there's things going on, and you see all sorts, you see bodies and all of this stuff. So as a 5-year-old, seeing all of that stuff and going through different things, it was tough. It was really unpleasant.
I bet.
And that sticks with me till this day.
Yeah, I bet. So when you're taken to camps, what are the camps like?
Oh, it's rough. Some days you're not even getting any food. I remember we was young. My older sister Shetta at the time, she must have been about 12 or 13, and she literally became our mum, our guardian angel through them places, and cooking and trying her best to get food and all of this stuff. So it was really tough. And I remember surviving off just bread and water. And what we used to do, if we managed to get some sugar, we'll put the sugar in the hot water, stir it, and then when you dip your bread, it's sweet.
Yeah,
so it gives you that little boost, so that's what we survived off. And when we was lucky, we'll get beans or rice, and that was literally it for like 3 years.
When you're in a camp, just explain to me here what a camp would look like. Is it just tents everywhere with
Yeah, there's tents everywhere, and there's officials that are there to look after you, but them officials tend to do nasty things. Some of the soldiers and some of, I remember being in a camp in Benin, and us being kids, we went out and played outside, and we met some of my cousins there, and my cousin's name's Jojo. So we got in this car, me and Jojo, and he came out the other day, bless him. He's smashing it, he's doing great, and he's doing amazing for himself. And I remember us being in the back of, I don't know, some guys tried to offer us sweets, but what they was doing is taking children and turning them into like child soldiers and things like that. And Jojo reminded me of this story, because I forgot about this story. So me and 2 of my sisters and Jojo and I can't remember, I think it was someone else from the camp, we got in this car and they was giving us sweets, and they started driving away with us. And then me and Jojo clocked what was happening. We started fighting the guys, fighting for our life to get out of the car, screaming. And by the grace of God, we managed to get out of that car. I don't know what would have happened to us, Dodge. We would have been child soldiers or whatever. But yeah, so that's what goes on in them places. It's horrible.
Bloody hell.
Horrible.
How long were you in that first camp for? Do you remember?
I can't really remember it, but I just remember that I remember the 3 places that we went to, and I remember the last place that we was at, which was a camp in Benin. So
in Congo, were these camps in Congo, or were you crossing the border?
Crossing borders. So from Congo to the neighboring Congo, which was Congo Brazzaville. Yeah. Then from there to Nigeria. Yeah. Then from Nigeria to Benin. Okay. So it was a long trip, and we're getting moved by the Red Cross or the UN and people like that. And the last place that we was at was a place in Benin, and there was like, not huts, but it was better. That was better than anywhere else we've ever been. It was more even though it was rubbish, but it was more comfortable.
Okay.
You know, so it wasn't bad in Benin, but I just remember that incident of the people coming and trying to put us in a car and take us away.
Isn't that crazy? Like the child soldiers.
Yeah.
How they're grabbing and say, right, we're going to train you up to become a soldier.
Yeah.
At young age, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
When you got taken away from your mum and dad, how long was it until you got reunited with your mum and dad?
About 3.5 years later.
And no communication in between?
Nothing.
Bloody hell.
Nothing. So imagine being a 5-year-old boy and you don't know where your parents are, and you know, later on you find out, you know, we're chilling in a camp and a lady comes over with a phone and says, here's a phone, and then we hear our mum's voice for the first time, and my sister's crying, and then she asks us to speak to everyone, and we speak to her, and she's like, don't worry, I'm gonna come and get you guys. You know, so yeah.
Man. Where did you leave when your last stop was Nigeria?
Benin.
Yeah. And then what? Your parents come and got you when you flew to England?
So my mum had to come and check and make sure, obviously with the Red Cross, they have to make sure that that's your children and stuff like that. So they'll check your nails, check your teeth, you know, your DNA, like your blood and all of that stuff. Then once all that stuff was sorted, then she came over. Then she went back. You know, after, I can't remember, like a few days, she went back to England. So
your mum and dad were in England at the time?
Yeah, they fled.
Oh, they fled and got to England while you're still out in the...
While we're still figuring what we're going through, and we're in different parts of the world.
Yeah.
They're now in the UK with my older sister, and they've sought political asylum, got it, and they're now searching around for us and trying to find out where we are.
Yeah, Rosca.
So,
wow.
So yeah, then she came over, and we were so happy to see her. We all hugged each other, and we was all crying. Then she had to leave and come back over here. And then after they confirmed everything, then they put us on a plane, and then we came to the UK, and it was like a Tuesday, and it was freezing and it was snowing. So coming from a hot country, yeah, I was so shocked. I was like, oh my God, what's all this white stuff? You know, like, what's all this going on here? I was freezing, but they gave us jackets like on the plane and stuff, because they knew it was going to be snowing and stuff, you know. So, that's my first ever time stepping foot on UK soil. It was snowing, and I was just...
How old were you?
I was 9 then.
You were 9, okay.
Yeah.
What was it like for you being 9? Where did you move to? What part of London?
I moved to Plumstead.
Okay.
An area in
near Woolwich.
Woolwich, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was it like for you being 9-year-old coming to South London?
It was an eye opener, and it was very strange, because we've just left a place where, you know, there's chaos, there's everything going on around us, and now I'm in this place, and it's very calm. At first, that's what it seemed like. Yeah. It's very calm. My mum, they gave my mum a 2-bedroom council flat, and there were 7 of us, you know. So we're sleeping on the floors, we're sleeping here. My mum's working like 2 jobs. My dad was doing his best, working a few jobs himself. There's no money. Everyone's trying to figure out life. And, it was very different to what I was used to. And then obviously they had to enroll us into school and stuff. But luckily for us and my sisters, our stuff's always been well documented on paper. You know, these children have been through this and that and that, and they need this and that, but we never ever got the help for it. You know, so it was very different.
Did you blend in quite easily, or was it a massive culture shock for you? I'd imagine it would be quite tough. You know, two different. You know, Congo and England is very, very different. Yeah. Did you blend in quite well? Did you have to make friends quite easily? Was there a lot of Mickey take? How was it at the time?
I when I started primary school, I started in year 5. Yeah. So it was really difficult for me because I got really picked on. So in my school there was Mehmet and another kid and 2 different kids. And they just literally picked on me. You know, they spat on me in the playground, got called names like fresh off the boat and all of this stuff. My sisters also experienced some form of bullying. And the teachers was well aware of it. And I'll tell you a funny story in a minute. All the teachers was well aware of it, but when I got to year 6, we had 3 months left till you start secondary school. And my head teacher at the time thought it would be wise for me to go back home for like a month or so whilst they tackle these bullies. Because I had enough at one point and I hit one of them with the chair. You know, back then you had plastic chairs in the classroom. So I hit one of them with the chair. And my mum said, but well, he's getting bullied and you're aware of all this stuff and you're aware of everything they've been through. Why are you not giving them counseling? Why are you not doing this? And they said, all right, cool. Rosca can go home for a while whilst we tackle these kids, and then he can come back in, because if we move them lot out of the school, their parents are going to kick off. It's going to be an upscale. And my mum's like, that's not fair. And I don't think that was fair at all, Dodge. You know what I mean? So I ended up being at home, and whilst I was staying at home, I'm by myself, my sister in school and all of this stuff. My dad's working. It's just me and my mum, and my mum's like, oh, go and kick your ball outside. I'm not going to just let you sit here and not do nothing. And that's when things took a turn for me.
How did things take a turn, and how quickly did it all happen?
Well, I couldn't speak. By then I knew how to say thanks, but I used to say funks instead of thanks and stuff like that. So, by that time, I knew how to go to the shop and ask for stuff or this, because we had a shop right across from us, from the house. But there was this group of older children, that always used to hang around our side, because there was this cage. And I didn't know who there was, but one day they just said, oh, little man, kick us your ball. And I kicked my ball. And then they was like, oh yeah, come chill with us. And then they had girls there, and the girls would pull my cheeks and say you're cute and all of this stuff. And they became like a family to me. They became like, they was teaching me English, teaching me how to speak properly. And, by the end, when summer really kicked in, and I'll say, oh mum, can I go and play out? Because I wanted to go and hang out with them, because I felt safe, because I didn't have that sense of belonging in school. Yeah. I've always wanted to feel part of like I belong somewhere, and I didn't get that in school. So when these older kids from the state that I used to live in, Plumstead, started showing me that love, I felt, oh, these are older kids, and why couldn't children in school show me the same love? So I latched onto that, and it became anytime I could go and play out, and I knew they was there, and I saw them out the window, I said, oh mum, can I go and play out? And then I'll just go and hang around with them. Yeah. So when summer kicked in, didn't start straight away. Halfway through summer, they'll be like, oh, Rosca, come here, look. I take this to that car, and I'll take it to the car. And I didn't know what it was, Dodge. Do you know what I mean? At the time, I'm young. I don't know what's happening. I'm taking things to cars. I'm hanging around with them. They're buying me chicken and chips, and as time went on, and, I started secondary school and stuff, they'll pick me up from school, make sure no one messed with me, and then they'll bring me back to I won't even get a bus. They'll bring me back with them, or sometimes a couple of them will get a bus back or whatever. And it wasn't all the time. Yeah. I'm not going to say it was all the time, but sometimes they'll come and make sure that no one messed with me and stuff like that. So I felt like protected, especially coming from a war-torn country and seeing bloodshed everywhere, and trying to settle in a new country, and you're getting picked on at school. You've got no friends. You're just at home with your sisters.
And can't speak the language.
And you can't speak the language. Wow. Do you know what I mean? So, I really latched onto them boys. I only find out later what I was doing and what they was asking me to do. But then it was too late. I found a sense of belonging. They used to buy me trainers. I used to stash them outside, so my mum couldn't see them, and I'll wear my brand new trainers to school, because my mum couldn't afford anything. Yeah. And she used to get me like deodoras and stuff like that, and people make fun of me at school and stuff like that. So yeah.
How quickly did it escalate to get involved in drugs and arms?
It escalated when things weren't good for me at home. That's when it escalated.
When things weren't good for you at home?
Yeah.
What, with your mum and dad, or?
Just with my dad. Like, things weren't really good with my dad at home. So, he was going, he went through his own trauma, in them places that, whatever, like, cause my dad went to boarding school and stuff as well. So he went through his own traumas and stuff like that. So on top of what he had to deal with coming from Congo and stuff like that, I felt like he didn't have the courage to deal with a lot of his own personal stuff. So then he'll be able to deal with his children and look after them the way that he needed to do and be a father. So, African culture, you know, you smack your children and do this and that, and it didn't work for me. That didn't work for me. And yeah, home wasn't pleasant for me. So I've never really had a home from the age of 12, you know.
And today how old are you?
Today I'm just going to turn 32 soon. So I've never really had a home from the age of 12, you know. So, yeah, I left home from a young age, and
or even haven't had a proper home since the age of 5.
Yeah, from the age of 5. You're right. Yeah, I try to stay away from that. Yeah, from the age of 5, I've always moved from different places to different places, and I'm now getting to the point where I'm now starting to feel like, okay, cool. Okay. So you're building your own now. You're doing for you, and you're building something for yourself, you know. How
quickly did it escalate with the drugs? What sort of drugs were you serving up? Were you personally serving up drugs yourself, or were you just the middleman? Were you the runner? Or
I was just delivering at the time.
Okay.
And every now and then I'll get like bags of weed and sell like 10 bags at school or something like that, you know. I'll get like 5 of them or 6 of them, and I have to give them like £40 and I keep £20, you know. And back then that was good money when you're young, you know, and I'm buying chicken and chips. I'll stack up as much money as I can, and I'll give my sisters money for school and make them get chicken and chips after school and stuff like that. So I felt like I was doing what I could for my sisters on top of what my parents couldn't do, you know. So
did you start to rebel against your parents?
No, I never did rebel. I feel like I got pushed to just exit the family home at a young age. Mainly, like I said, my dad was, you know, he had his own troubles, you know. So I just got pushed that way. And by then I started suffering with like PTSD, having flashbacks and stuff. So I'll come back from secondary school, and I had this small room. I had the smallest room in the house, and I was grateful for it because I had my own space, and all my sisters shared, and then my mum and dad had one room. And then so I moved from Plumstead to Woolwich Common, and Woolwich Common was only down the road, literally 5 minutes from where I was living. And
tough place, by the way.
Woolwich Common, Woolwich Common was rough. Mate. It was predominantly run by Somalians, you know, and they had it boxed, you know. So so I made friends with a guy that lived in one of the blocks there, but he was hanging around with people from Charlton, and unaware to me, I didn't know that Charlton and Woolwich had problems at the time, and so my friend would tell me, oh yeah, come, let's go to Charlton and hang around with my boy. So he introduced me to all the Charlton lot, and then I started hanging around with them, and you know, they looked after me, man. There was, you know, we became like a little brotherhood, and we all looked after each other and whatever. And they took me in straight away, you know, they took a liking to me, and I extremely became close with another guy called Rosca, who was Llewellyn. And I used to at night time, when I'm going through my, you know, PTSD, I'll climb out the window and just jump down, and then I'll find a block that's open, and I'll go in the block and sleep in it till like the morning, and I'll go back before my dad wakes up, because he'll literally go nuts, and I'll climb back through the window, and then my sister, a couple of my sisters knew, like they noticed the pattern, and one of them pulled me up and was like, Ross, I know you climb out and then you go and do, but we need to talk about it, blah, 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 blah. And so I'll go back and chill and get ready for school. Then after school, I'll quickly go to Charlton and then rush home so I don't get in trouble. And yeah, that just became the norm for a while. And in Charlton, I wasn't even dealing or doing anything. We were just hanging around and just getting in trouble. And cause I then became part of that group. So now going back to Woolwich Common, and they've now found out that I'm part of, you know, that group. They're now turning up outside my house, smashing up my windows.
They did?
Yeah, smashing up my windows, you know, chasing me around. And I literally had to go the back way and climb through the wall to get into my house every time. And I just used to think, but I didn't realize what was going on at first. I was like, but wait a minute, like I'm just hanging around with them. Like I don't know what's happening here right now. Then it just got too much and I got rushed a few times and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Then my attitude started changing because I'm like, from getting bullied in school, like, and I'm just trying to fit in somewhere. I'm just trying to belong. I'm not even trying to bring any drama to anyone. Then I was like, all right, cool. So you usually want to see badness. You don't know where I just come from. And I just started channeling that. And I'm just like, okay, so if you lot want to take it there, like I want to take it 10 times further, you know? So I started, even if I catch one of them by myself, like I'm doing the most, you know, I'm going full in than what they doing, you know, so, and that just became my norm. I'm like, actually, I'm not having this from anyone no more. You're not coming round and smashing my windows. You're not smashing my dad's car just because we live in this area and I hang around with them lot. I didn't know you lot had problems. It's not my fault that, you know, I met someone that lives in one of the blocks and he hangs around with them and I've not clicked with any of you lot and I don't want to click with any of you lot because I can see what you lot are doing, you know, so yeah, so I just started taking it 10 steps further than they will take it.
Give me an example.
For example, I got rushed one time and I got rushed really badly. So I said, all right, cool. No
when
problem.
You got rushed, give me an example of being rushed by how many people?
It was by about 6 or 8 of them. They beat me quite badly and I had they smashed me with a bottle when I went back home and I was bleeding and I had to go to hospital. And then I told a couple of my friends from Charlton and we came back round at night time and we literally found a couple of them outside the shop and we literally beat the hell out of them. I'm not proud of it now, but I just wanted to be left alone. Yeah. And I was getting pushed way too far, you know, so then I just started retaliating, you know, then it just became a massive thing. They'll come outside my house, break my windows, smash my windows, police will turn up. The PCSO from the area, like, you know, the neighborhood police, they turn up on my house and saying, these lot are really like, they're after Rosca, like, you lot got to move, you know. Then my mum and dad decided to move to North London. And I didn't want to go with them because I was never at home anyway. By then I used to go and hang and because I, you know, like I said, there was problems at home. And for me, home didn't feel safe. On top of me not feeling safe moving to the UK, my home wasn't safe for me. So therefore I will leave. And like I said, I'll climb out the window. I'll go to my friend who lived by Woolwich Dockyard and I'll stay with him. And then one time my dad found out where I was and he came and physically dragged me out of the house and took me back and whatever, you know.
Did your dad ever give you a beating?
Yeah. Yeah. But so yeah, I will literally.
There was no win for you here right now. What I'm listening, like your old man's going to give you a beating. You've got all these lads after you chasing you. Every time you want a relaxing day, you're looking over your shoulder just to get home. You're at home, someone's smashing your house in, smashing your dad's car in. Yeah. All we wanted was a quiet life. Yeah. When you got, how old were you got to the point when you flicked the switch going, you know what, bring it on now, I've had enough?
Must have been turning about 13.
Okay.
Just turning.
So still
13.
young.
Yeah.
But you were game.
Yeah, that's when I just.
You had nothing to lose.
I was like, you know what, I'm not having it anymore. So it's game on from then on. Yeah. And
how did that escalate over the years before you got put in prison?
So from having trouble with the Woolwich lot, because I'm now involved with the Charlton lot, then now I'm then having problems with the Thamesmead lot. You lived in Thamesmead because they've also got a problem with the Charlton lot. So it's all just going on. So
it's all,
you know,
postcode wars going on.
Postcode wars. And I'm just like, fuck, you know, what have I landed myself into here? But then, you know, you have to be loyal to the people that you're hanging around with, and then you also have to be loyal to yourself, you know. So imagine me going back to Woolwich Common, I have to dodge the Thamesmead lot that's coming out at night time looking for the Charlton lot. I have to dodge the Woolwich Common ones. Like, I have to go back late at night and navigate through and then climb through my window so no one sees me and stuff like that. Like, it was just
stressful.
It was very stressful. And I just kept thinking to myself, okay, I'm at home and home is rubbish and this and that. And I'm just trying to cut through. I just want a life. So that's when the switch really kicked off for me, because I'm just like, you know what? I'm trying to, I'm defending myself against all of you guys. I don't want these problems, but you've pushed me so far to the point where I'm like, I've got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
You know, then I left home, went into care. Then I'm back to Plumstead now, and I'm in with like my foster family, and they see me there as well. Some people are seeing me there from Thamesmead, and they're chasing me and stuff like that. And
While
like,
you're your foster family.
yeah, then I'm just like, you know what? I've ran away from foster home.
Yeah.
So now I'm just homeless.
Yeah.
And I'm sofa surfing, you know, from house to house. So I'll stay with my friend Llewellyn and Masca and stay at his house. And sometimes, you know, bless his mum, like, she looked after me and she would take care of me. But sometimes she'd be like, but Rosca can't stay. He's got his parents, tell him to go back home.
Yeah.
And Llewellyn had a car outside his house. And he wouldn't even have known this till later on, you know, but sometimes I'll sleep in that car, you know, and then I'll walk to wherever I need to walk to in the morning and get a shower or whatever, and then just crack on with life. So, yeah.
Bloody hell, man.
Yeah.
What did you do for £1 note then?
I hustle and bustle. Like, you know, I will, you know, I'll steal from shops, you know, I'll back then, you know, we'll go into like Sports Direct and steal trainers and sell them. And, you know, like I said, I'll be giving like, I'll go to one of my, like the elders, he'll give me like a £80 worth of weed, you know, after giving back that £50 and I keep the rest. Yeah, okay. And, you know, so that's how I was surviving when I was younger.
Yeah.
And then from then something happened with my friends from Charlton. I had something in the house and they kind of like robbed me for it. And
what was it?
It was just like, you know, drugs and money and stuff like that. And it wasn't all of them, but it was just a couple individuals. And then my friend Masca found out and he was so upset, and he literally had like a fight with one of them on my behalf, because for some reason he always looked after me. He always had a soft spot for me. Because I was rowdy, but I wasn't a fighter.
Yeah. Like
now I can hold my own, because I train, I do all the things, not to fight people, but just for my own personal development and my mental health, you know, to keep my head in check. So I train a lot. You know, I've done Muay Thai in the past when I came home and stuff like that. And, you know, I just train, I just do circuits and stuff like that. So Masca stepped in for me and he was like, no, you're not fighting him. I want to fight him for you. And he beat the shit out of him and said, don't ever do that to Rosca again, because like that's one of us. Like, he doesn't do anything to me. Like, why would you do that? And then from then I had connections in Lewisham, and so I was like, you lot are rubbish, man. Like, I can't believe you've done that for me. Especially, you know, I'm always at the front of everything. When there's people, I'll be at the front trying to defend you lot. And, you know, so I moved down to Lewisham and just started hanging around with the Lewisham lot. And because the Lewisham lot knew of my reputation from Charlton, I just literally went from here to there. Like, the levels just went up, you know. And in Lewisham, like, it was even more. The levels down there was nothing compared to what it was down there. Like, down there, they looked after you. Down there, they made sure you never went without. Down there, they made sure that you had somewhere to stay, you know, and stuff like that. So, I was well looked after when I moved down to Lewisham, and, you know, I started hanging around with the Lewisham lot, you know. Lewisham's a borough, so I hanged around in Deptford, and I hanged around with, you know, the elders from like New Cross, like Ghetto and stuff like that. So, I just went up the ranks there very quickly. I was like, I just need to survive. So I just proved my worth. You know, I done what I could to survive, you know, and just prove my worth to them. And they was like, all right, cool. Here you go. You literally like, you know, you're like third in command or whatever you know, you're there. So,
What was the period before the day that you actually got nicked? Was there anything else leading up to that before you actually got nicked that day?
Before that dodge, whilst I was in Lewisham, from 14 to 16, in a period of 2 years, it was chaotic, man. I got stabbed 14 times. I survived that. I was in a coma. Then I got stabbed again coming outside of the courtroom by some lads. They thought I belonged, because one of them recognized me. They was from Camberwell and just like, oh, bruv, you chill with all the Peckham lot now, innit? You lot linked up with the Peckham lot. And then I got stabbed. Then I got stabbed again once after that, and altogether 14, 15, 16, 17 times I've been stabbed. So, and I survived every single one of them, by the grace of, whatever high powers up there that looks after me, and that's kept me alive all this time.
When you're getting stabbed and all this is going on around you, are you carrying yourself?
Nah, I wasn't. It got to a point, actually, honestly, I had to, at some point I was carrying, because I had to, because of the areas that I was going into, so I had to be around, and I was around people that carried normal, it was normal for them, whatever they carried, it was normal for them to do that, because they had serious problems, so I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Yes, there was times where I carried certain things which I shouldn't have carried, but yet again, going into it, trying to survive, looking for a sense of belonging, not having a home, not having somewhere stable to call my home, I had to just do whatever I had to survive,
A dangerous man when you've got nothing to lose. Yeah. What sort of stuff would you carry?
I'll carry knives and stuff, and sometimes, we'll have shooters and stuff around us. It's normal. It was normal back then. And they used to come in by, we'll lose one, we'll get 3 more. Yeah. And, I'll go out with the olders, and I'll be the main guy, there looking after them, and, and making sure everyone's all right.
What was that feeling like for you, building your reputation up in a new manner at that time, and you're getting a little bit older and you had a bit more money? And
I wouldn't say I had money, but I wouldn't say I didn't really have that much money, but what I had was the rep.
Yeah.
And that carried me through. So it felt empowering, to be honest with you. It felt really empowering, knowing that, all right, no one's messing with me anymore. People think twice before even approaching me, because now people know that actually this guy stands for something. Yeah. All them bullies that used to bully me in school, I bumped into most of them, and they used to tremble in front of me. Yeah. And I used to be like, okay. And do you know what I did dodge when I bumped into them? I let them go.
Yeah.
Didn't do nothing to them, because I wasn't that person anyway, and I wasn't there to cause. I've always defended myself. So I've always been like, okay, you want to take it down, I want to take it 10 steps further. You don't know where I've just come from. Yeah. You lot think you're bad. I've just come from little child walking around with K's and stuff. You lot are babies. You don't know what you're doing over here. You think this is all, so I just started showing them that I've got a different mentality to you lot, and if you want to take it, I want to take it there. So when I saw these bullies and people that done things to me, I remember seeing, Mehmet in Lewisham McDonald's, and I'm with all my guys, and they move on my say so. I say go, they go. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I've seen the kid, and I'm just looking, he's recognized me, and he's shitting himself. I just went into the desk and got my food, and I just looked at him, I just winked at him, I just said go, and that was it.
Fair play.
Literally.
Fair play.
Yeah.
What was that feeling like when you got nicked? And what was that feeling like when you were in court and they said you're going to go to prison indefinitely? I cried when I got back downstairs. When I got arrested, so I was going to deliver something, which was a firearm, and so I was in Greenwich, at Weatherspoons in Greenwich. I went to see someone, and then I got a taxi. And there's a dual carriageway that goes round, and then I was going back towards Catford, so I have to go around it.
I remember getting in the taxi, and this taxi's picked me up. As soon as I got in a taxi, I felt funny. You know when you get that butterfly feeling, but you don't know what's going on. Now I know what that feeling is. I follow it.
Always believe your gut. Yeah.
I follow it all the time. So I go in a taxi. As soon as we took the bend, helicopters, everything just appeared out of nowhere. When I mean, I've never seen so much police like this in my life. They blocked off the whole strip for me. Everywhere. Police everywhere. Rosca, get out of the car. I'm thinking, what? Get out of the car, Rosca. And then by then there was this Trident officer, and I'll get to him in a bit as well. Look, you know, there was this Trident officer that knew of me, because by then I've been arrested for stupid stuff, you know, like a fray and all of this stuff, fighting and suspicion of attempted this, suspicion of a shooting here or there. And it was never me, but people always threw me in the mix.
Yeah, okay.
Even, you know, and I just like, because my name was so popular, Rosca. So everyone always threw me in the mix. And sometimes whatever happened. But most of the time I was always thrown in the mix, you know. So when he knocked on the door, bless him, you know, he knocked on the door, he's like, Rosca, get out of the car or they're going to shoot you. I don't want you to die. We've spoken enough time. I don't think you're a bad kid at all. You know, I've seen your file. I've seen certain things about your history. Get out of the car, please. And he moved away from the car. And I pushed the firearm underneath the passenger seat, because I sat behind. And put my hand up, but it tased me. They shot me anyway with a taser. And I was on the floor, blacked out. Then I remember waking up. I'm in cuffs in the back of the car, and I'm just thinking, fuck. And by then I just had my child, you know. He's now just started crawling. And I remember just thinking, oh fuck, I've let him down. You know, I've let him down in, you know, trying to survive, earn a little bit of money to provide for him. I'm a young dad. I'm 16 at the time, Dodge. I'm 16, turning 17. That, like, when I got arrested, I was just turning 17, you know, and I was thinking, oh man, like, I've just let down my son, like, you know. And I got to the station and I rang the mother of my child, and I was like, I've been arrested, and I'm now in the, you know, I'm in Lewisham police station, and I've been arrested for this. And I remember she was just crying, you know, she was crying. And then I went to court. And then, you know, I was on remand, and they told me, you're going to prison, you're on remand. I went to remand, and at the first day of me walking through induction, some guy spotted me. I didn't even know I didn't even know who there was at the time. He just come behind me and snaked me and punched me, slightly kind of like knocked me out. So I was fainted a little bit. I was dazed. So I'm trying to look, I'm trying to see, but it's so blurry. I can't see anything. And the govs have come and jumped on me as well. And I'm like, I haven't done anything. And they're like, oh, you're going back to your cell. And I'm like, I've not done anything. Later on, I found out who the guy was, and he belonged to someone that I had problems with, you know. And cause by then I had a reputation, and they wanted to score points, you know. So Rosca is now in jail. Like, this is where we can get him. He's now vulnerable. He's not on the road no more. And then I was in induction, and then one of my friends found out that I was there in induction, and he's come knocking on my door. He's like, what happened? But I said, oh, my man just, he's like, don't worry about it. We'll sort it out in the morning. Don't worry about it. So in the morning, I got put behind my door, and he dealt with it for me on my behalf. So he gave him a good hiding. Yeah. And then from then I went to, back to court. I waited a long time. I was in Cookham Wood for a bit. It was like it's like a YOY. And, then after that, I went back for like, you know, thing. And then I got sentenced after my trial. And I remember getting sentenced, getting this indeterminate sentence. I didn't even know what indeterminate was. Yeah. I'm like, what the hell's in? And my solicitor at the time, Kirsty, she's saying to me, like, indeterminate means that, like, you know, it's up to them when you come home.
Bloody hell.
So I'm like, what, do I do 4 years and then come home? She's like, you do 4 years, and the barrister's like, you do 4 years, but then you have to apply for parole, and Then I'm like, but what is this sentence? They're like, originally it was introduced for like sex offenders and violent, like serious violent offenders. But being who you are and coming from where you come from and the areas you come from, they've now decided any person who's involved in gangs or gang cultures, I just give them that. And I later understood how the system worked. For me to be in jail for a certain amount of years or even a year, that's a lot of money for them.
Yeah.
You know, so this thing that they introduced was for whatever reason, which has now been abolished. Thank God it's now been abolished, but there's still a lot of people in prison who are, there's a guy in prison that attempted to steal a cigarette. How do you explain to a mum that that person is still in jail 16 years later?
From trying to
from attempted to steal a cigarette.
From where?
From a shop. And the police turned up and he got arrested. Just like out of the blue, like the police turned up and he got arrested. There's other people in it that's meant to do a year on IPP, 2 years on IPP, and they're still in prison till this day. You know, it's now been abolished. And the IPP, when you came home, you still had to be on life license.
Yeah. So
you had to go to probation on life license. You had to turn up to probation every 2 months. So luckily for me, I had an amazing probation officer. Yeah. You know, she's the one that came in and helped me turn my life around, you know, and made me go to a therapeutic jail to do therapy, because she recognized everything that I've been through to that point. And she's like, listen, this is not you. It's deeper than you. Like, you're suffering with some serious post-traumatic stress disorder, trying to fit in. Why don't you go to a jail that focuses on therapy, do therapy, and I bet you anything you're going to thank me for it later. Yeah. And then we're going to get you home. I'm going to get you home. But
is that what she used to say, was it?
What's her name? Said, Diane.
Massive shout.
Amazing. Diane, massive. Like, she's an amazing woman.
How long were you on remand for?
I was on remand for a year.
Okay. And how long did you do in total in prison?
I'd done just shy of 10 years altogether from 17. So I'd done just shy of 10 years.
How many prisons did you do?
I've done about 15 jails. And every single, like when I was doing the normal jails up until going to Grendon, which is a therapeutic jail, and it's, oh man.
Grendon's a mad one though.
It's mad. Like, and remember, I'm in there just for possession of firearm, but you've got people in there, as you know, you know about Grendon, you've got people in there that I've seen there for some serious stuff. And I'm looking at them and we're all in this, obviously you've got the other wing for the people that do things to, you know, children and stuff that they don't cross path with us. But then, would you know what they done? They threw a few of them in the groups to see how you reacted. So I've got someone opposite me that's talking about
stuff that you got up to,
and
you don't want to hear it,
and children and stuff. And I'm looking at him like, bro, are you for real? Like, and every single beam of me wants to get up and do something to him or do something. And I'm just like, okay, cool. You're not here for that. You know, you're here to better yourself. You're here to work on yourself, you know. And it got to a point where they didn't really have them people in the groups no more, you know. But
did you feel relief when you got put away to get off the street?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did. Eventually I did. When I got to Grendon, I did. When I got to Belmarsh, I did.
Okay. Okay.
So when I got to Belmarsh, when I got transferred from...
What was your first prison?
My first prison was Cookenwood. Then it was Warren Hill. Then Reading. Then Norwich. Then Dorchester. Then Winchester. List goes on.
Carry on.
Then Dorchester, Winchester, then back to Dorchester, then back to Reading, then Portland. Then that's when I met my best friend P. He's my rock. Like he should have been here today. Like he'll tell you stories himself. But so then Portland, then Portland to ISIS to Belmarsh. Then Belmarsh to somewhere else. I can't remember. Okay. There's loads of them. Then the last one was Grendon. Yeah.
What was the toughest one out of all those prisons for you?
Grendon.
Okay.
The other ones was like, do you know what? ISIS from Portland, like Portland, the little jails that I went to, like the YOYs, there was obviously you bump into people, you have fights and, you know, but then people just started leaving me alone because they'll realize that I had people in the jail.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, just leave him alone. For me, the toughest jails was ISIS. HMP ISIS, yeah.
Where's that?
So you got HMP Thameside.
Yeah.
Then HMP ISIS is there. They're all next to each other. Then you've got Belmarsh.
Yeah.
So it's all like a triangle thing. And for me, I touched into ISIS and went through reception, me and my friend. Cause so I got shipped out of Portland because one of the governors, or I can't remember, I think it was a governor, but it was higher up. I think he walked in on me and his missus.
You're joking, mate. Go on.
So it was like early hours in the morning. Yeah. Early hours in the morning. They just come, and we had our wing box, like the gov, like the SO, because that's what they call the higher up officer. They're called SO. He used to be like I remember there was a friend that we had called Spray that came to the jail, and he must have thought it was me and P and my other brethren H, Harrison. And because we, like, the govs will get us to like slightly run the wing a little bit for them and make sure that no one, and because we was on servery and the servery boys get all the privileges and stuff. We stay out late, and in Portland, you had big cells where you can share, and the cells was massive. So we got given the top cells, massive cells. And what came with that, it was that you lot look after the wing for us, make sure no one gets in trouble, make sure you control it, and there's not too much bullshit going on. So that SO used to be like to other people, do you think you're Rosca? Do you think I dare you put your hands up now, I'll beat you up and put you on the floor. Like, they used to bad up everyone else, and they used to leave us alone. So he came early morning and knocked on the door with loads of guards, and like, Ross, I'm sorry, you have to go. And I'm like, what is it? Then he whispered in my ear, like, my man saw you with and you can't make a big deal of it, but you have to go. So I was like, all right. And I remember that was like the first time, like, after being in jail for so long. And I didn't know like what she was doing at the time, but slightly, like, she kind of like groomed me in a bit, like, cause that's what she was doing with everyone else that we found out later. So she used to like, was meant to do like counseling sessions and different things. And then she'll start touching your leg, and obviously you're young, you're in jail, you don't really know what's happening.
Yeah.
And obviously you're a man as well at the same time, and a woman's touching you like that in jail. You're like, all right, cool. And then before you know it, you're getting aroused, and you start going back and seeing her even more. And then, I saw her like the second time I must have gone back to her. That's when, she gave me a little bit of neck, as we like to call it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was the SO's missus.
It wasn't the SO's missus. It was one of the higher
ups missus.
Yeah. So I remember, like, he walked in
on you,
and she quickly got up, and I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, fuck, you set me up, you have. And now I'm just gonna get moved and shipped. And I just knew it then. He didn't even say nothing. He just looked at her like he just knew she was at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then things happen in jail, it happens all the time, And so, yeah, I got shipped out of there. And I remember telling my probation this story, and she was just laughing. She was like, oh yeah, don't get yourself involved in that anyway. Don't let any woman.
What was her name?
I can't say.
Can't remember.
Yeah, I don't want to say.
Put her into it.
I don't want to put into it, but it was all.
She's also looked after a lot of lads there.
Oh yeah, she's definitely looked after a lot of lads, because my mate who I was sharing a cell with later on, he told me, bro, don't worry, I got blessed too, bro. After so many years, it felt amazing.
Yeah.
And what man, especially when you're in the environment, even though at first I used to look and think, oh man, you give in after a while, you're like, all right, cool, whatever, man. So, a little bit of quick neck, and, and I remember walking up to the landing, and my friend P was out, and I was like, bro, look at all of this on my freaking trousers. Like, and he's like, bro, she gave you neck. I was like, yeah, she gave me neck. He's like, no, I've got to get neck myself. So it was like, she became like the woman that, will give the higher up people, you know,
Look
'cause she
after.
liked a little bad boy, I think.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
she'll look after you.
Did you get, when you were in there, did you know that you were going to have to do 10 years at any point?
I didn't know I was going to have to do 10 years, Dodge. I thought, okay, I'll do my 4 years. I'll apply for parole. But what I didn't know is when you're in jail and you get yourself in a little bit of bother because they're putting you in prisons where, like I said, when I touched down in ISIS, I had half the jail on me, Dodge.
On you?
I had half the jail on me because I was Rosca.
Okay.
And my reputation was what it was. And I had half of the jail on me that was part of other people because people make alliances, right? So I remember pushing my trolley and I'm getting brought from, I can't remember, there was one side and another side, and I'm going to Meridian. That's it. I'm going to Meridian, pushing my trolley, me and my friend P, and he's going on another wing and I'm going on another wing. And out of nowhere, some lads have just come, boom, and there's loads of them. The bell's gone off, guards are coming out, and I'm looking at all of them and I'm thinking, okay, all right, cool. I know what I have to do. Let's go and make my shifts, do what I need to do, and make sure I get myself right. But what happened was the tables got flipped immediately. So I went to a wing with my friend, one of my friend called Boost from Peckham, and bless him, man, he tried his best to look after me, man. He's a, like, we've always had a good rapport, me and him, even though he's from Peckham. Like, we've always got on. To this day, we've got an amazing rapport, you know. So I'm on the wing, and my brethren Tiny Boost is on the same wing, but they've got word out to the other wing that I'm there, and they're trying to get me hot watered with sugar or stabbed by their little affiliates there. So I've come out again, and this kid from West London that got order from them tried to snake me again. The govs have come, bloody, bloody, blah. I've gone back into my cell. Boost is come knocking on. They're like, what happened? What's I'm like, da-da-da. He's like, don't worry, cool. Saying that and bloody, bloody, blah. So he's tried to squash it because he understood what IPP was at the time. And he was trying his best because he's an amazing artist. And that's who got me into rapping and stuff like that. It was them lot and also my other friends. So he knew what it was, and he was trying to keep his head down to go home. And I kind of understood him. Later on, I understood why he just, you know, he didn't get involved in certain things. He just kept him, like, he was around and he's a household name, but he kept his brethrens, handled whatever he need, and he just focused on getting out.
Yeah, mate.
So, so I left that. So I went to the gym. I was able to go to the gym after a while because the govs won't let me out of my cell. They say, like, every time you come out of your cell, someone's trying it on you, like, and your name just keeps popping up in the jail. So I went to the gym and I'm training in the gym, but I'm very wary. I'm by myself. You know, my friend P, he's on a different wing. So we're not, you know, I can only see him sometimes in the gym or if we cross path or anything. So I'm in the gym, then I just hear, "Oi, Ross." I'm thinking, oh no, it's gonna go off again. I've turned around and I've seen my friend Kipper from Stockwell, you know, and he's got an army with him. He's like, "Ross, what, these lot think they can mess with you?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Bro, you're coming to my wing tomorrow. I'm gonna get the govs to move you to my wing, and we're just gonna, anyone that we see that even look to you wrong on free flow, we are going to annihilate every single one of them and make examples out of them." So Kips had an army and Kips had the Joe. Like he had the Joe in a way, you know, everyone knew who Kipper was and everyone knew what his set was about, and he was connected with everyone. So the gov, Kipper got me moved in with him. I moved downstairs for a bit with another guy till he had space and his cellmate was going home. Then I moved in with Kipper, and me and Kipper have known each other since we was young. Our parents, like, he's nan, and like I met Kipper like Kingdom Hall because my parents was Jehovah's Witnesses. So when I was younger, I used to go to Kingdom Hall, and you know, there'll be blazers in the corridor and stuff. I don't know if his parents was there, but that's where I met him. You know, so I don't know who in his family brought him there, but me and him would be outside in the corridors, like going through pockets and being naughty and being, "Oh, fuck, forget this, man. This is all rubbish, man. We're not interested in this." And he knew of me as well. Like, obviously we went ways, and he became who he became in this area, and he was a household name, and I became who I became. So us linking up in jail again and meeting up with each other. Like, it was like, oh my God, after all these years, and I'm going through so much trouble in there, you're coming to my rescue. And he's like, bro, like, you're my brother, like, anytime. Like, so he moved me to his wing. And from then on, we had the whole jail boxed. You know, then my brethren P, he had his wing box, and he's now moved on to my wing, and he's still got the other wing box.
Yeah.
So, and then I then became friends with some West London lot, and it just became all one. And like, it got to the point where the governor from ISIS, like, will come down and get me and Kipper onto the stairs when everyone's locked up, and he'll be like, bros, listen, you lot are doing too much. Like, you've got everything. I know you got phones. I know you've got this. I know you've got that. I know you got this. But listen, what I want to do is, there's too much happening. So I'm going to give you lot freedom. You can have a bit of different food or different thing like you want, and just keep everything under wraps for me. You know what I mean? And yeah, we was good, you know, and again, there'll be staff coming to the window that love bad boys, and they want to interact with us at night time and flash their boobies and all of that stuff. And we're having a laugh with them, and they're like, oh my God, you lot, da, 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 da. So it became a bit bearable for me, but, you know, and everyone left me alone, you know, so anytime there was a problem, you know, it would just get handled. I remember one time, this was funny. This was the most funniest thing ever, because if you saw it on camera, you'll be like, oh my God, what's happening in this jail? I've gone to surgery, and there was this guy that just came in, and I can't remember what happened with him or something, or he was part of something in my past or something. Him, like an idiot, not knowing how the order of the jail is, he's tried to snake me from behind, but I've clocked it coming and I've moved, but he grazed my head. Dodge. Everyone was that. When I mean, the whole landing swarmed onto this one guy. I felt so sorry for him that even though he was attacking me, trying to attack me, I had to like literally tell everyone to leave him, to the point where I nearly jumped on top of him so they don't kill him. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because my heart, that's not me anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've never been, if someone deserves a hiding, they deserve a hiding in there because they've done something bad. But if it's too much now, and I'm just like, oh guys, come on, like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't deserve that. So he got a hiding anyway, and he got moved wings. Like, it was horrible for him, but it didn't make me feel good. Yeah. It made me feel horrible, you know? And I was like, oh man, you could have asked me for one-on-one. I would have gone in a cell with you, and we could have gone at it, because I could have taken him on. It wasn't nothing special, but he wanted to score a point and tell his people outside, oh, I saw Ross, and you know what I mean? So
I want to roll back a bit. When you got nicked and you ended up doing 10 years in prison, you actually got nicked with a firearm. What went on before that? There must have been other stuff that you were getting nicked for, where the old bill going, man, we got to put him away because he's loose.
There was a lot of suspicion.
Yeah.
Like, something will happen. Like I said, Rosca's name will get thrown into the hat.
So, for example?
Like, attempted murders or this or that, you know, my name will get thrown into the hat. You know, Rosca. It's like I was the scapegoat, you know what I mean? Like, and yeah, man, that's literally it. And I remember any house that I was at, Dodge, kept getting booted off by Trident. And I remember the Trident officer sitting me down, that, you know, knocked on the door, and he sat me down once and he said, I don't believe this is all you, Rosca. Like, I generally don't. Like, I know it's not all you. You know, I know that people are throwing your name in a hat whenever they can and bloody, bloody, blah. And sometimes I know you're getting in things and whatever, and I can't prove it. Yeah. But certain things, I generally know it's not you. But because you've got such a reputation at the minute, everyone's throwing your name into the mix, you know, and we do our research and we know it's not you. But then at that time, they was making an example anyway. You know, they was under pressure from the powers above to make an example. And unfortunately, I was one of them people, because I became so active, and that became a life of me surviving and depending on it and whatever. So I latched onto it even more, and I became one of the examples to be made. So when they finally got me, they made an example out of me. I should have got a 3-year sentence for my charge. I should have been in for 3 years.
That's what I was gonna say.
But, and I was 17 at the time as well. But they waited and waited and waited till I turned 18 and sentenced me.
So from 5 to 18, it's been chaos.
Real chaos, yeah. Real chaos.
And then from 18 to 28 in prison was chaos, but you felt safer in there.
I went away when I was 17. So from 17 till I came home when I was about, I can't remember, I came home like 2018. I must have been about, can't remember how old I was, but
27?
Yeah, chaos.
17 to 27.
Chaos.
In prison.
Yeah. But the last bit of my sentence was fine.
Yeah.
You know, because that's when, you know, Diane's come in, and Diane's actually sitting me down with another officer as well from Belmarsh, Chloe, bless her, lovely. She was tiny. And I used to look at her when people are fighting, I'm like, Chloe, you're going to get hurt. Yeah. You know, she was tiny, but she knew me because she lived in Woolwich Common, and I kind of like knew who she was.
Yeah.
And she sat me down one time because she was the violence reduction rep in like woman in prison. And she sat me down and said, Rosca, like, I'm begging you to just, like, I've seen your paperwork. Like, she was one of the first people to say to me, I finally like read and understand you. And I understand why you, when you say to me, miss, I'm not doing nothing. Like, look, I'm just walking in the jail and someone comes from behind me and tries to attack me and scores point. And she's like, okay, like, you need to go to a therapeutic jail. So when I got shipped to Belmarsh, she went to Belmarsh before me. So when I got shipped to Belmarsh, she was in Belmarsh.
Yeah. So
the minute she found out I was in Belmarsh, she came to me and she sat me down and said, do you know what we're going to do? We're going to fob up your ex outside probation officer because they're not really dealing with you correct. This is what I want you to do. And I'm going to bring someone new in to manage you. And then that's when she brought Diane in, you know, and Diane and her sat down with an amazing plan, and it sat me down in Belmarsh, and it was like, Rosca, look, you've got serious trauma that you need to deal with. The school didn't deal with it. You know, when you was at school, you got made to go back and and then at one time, Dodge, the teacher from my school, you wrote to me not too long ago on my Instagram and saying, you're doing amazing. I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of the man that you've become. You used to teach me in the basement at school because I used to get bullied so badly at school. And I couldn't be in a classroom because I couldn't handle it. So he used to take me down and teach me English. You know, and he now messages me and says how proud he is of me because he's seen my music, my interviews and stuff like that. And he's amazingly proud of me. And he's saying, isn't it funny how you turn it around? Yeah. Funny enough, my arresting officer, which I can show you my phone, long paragraph messages on Instagram. I've always known you was going to be this person, but unfortunately you had to learn the hard way for you to now get back onto your purpose, because I've never been this person, Dodge. My purpose has always been higher. Do you know what I mean? My purpose has always been higher. I've always aimed higher from a child, but unfortunately through everything I went through, just kind of turned me into a little savage, man. Yeah. For that duration of my life.
This is a powerful story, Rosca. This is a really powerful story.
Yeah.
When you came out of prison, what was your mindset?
I need to stick on this path. And now I've refound myself again, because in Grendon, they started doing a thing called a project with Cambridge University, which was called Learning Together. Yeah. And that's how I met my friend Jack, who helped me massively with like confidence. And my other friend, you know, in Grendon, I had a great like group of people that believed in me, even like my friend Chris and Moses. Like, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, there'll be times when I cried in front of them too. You know, I'll cry in front of Chris, I'll cry in front of Moses. Like, especially when I got knocked back after like doing therapy for like 3 years. I remember, because B-Wing, we asked the governor to give us studio equipment. It was unheard of in Grendon. Like, they never had studio, but they'll do like events where you can speak. They'll have like Sir Lenny Henry come in and do speeches different people like of high stature come in and we'll do speeches in front of them. I'll get on the mic and perform because I've always loved performing. Even in the camp, I used to drum away in empty flowers or buckets to take myself away from all that chaos and pain. And music's always been in my blood, in my heart. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, getting knocked back from parole and going in front of Chris and Moses, and they're waiting for me to tell them the good news. I'm going home, and I'm sitting in front of them, and I'm like, I didn't get in, and I'm just crying, and they're crying with me because they feel my pain.
Yeah.
And they're people that went off young as well, and that wasn't their path as well, but they've just had to go through it for whatever different reasons. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, like it was just yeah, it was nuts, man. It was too much. But Grendon was where I found my voice again.
Yeah.
Where there was peace for me. I didn't have to worry about anyone. I didn't have to worry about coming out and anyone doing anything to me or anything like that. Grendon was the safest place, but it was the most nuttiest place I've ever been to in my life.
Yeah.
Like refugee camps and stuff was tough, right? But Grendon, psychology, like you have to deal with everything that you've experienced in your life every single day. You have to talk about it.
Yeah.
How does this make you feel?
Yeah.
So how did it feel when, you know, your parents weren't there? How did it feel witnessing all them bodies? How did it feel going from, and they talk to you about it every single day. For 3 years, I done it. I done therapy dodge. And you know what? That was the best thing that's ever happened to me.
I bet. Did they say to you after you do this therapy, then you'll be able to leave?
That's what they did say to me. The staff used to say to me, oh, don't worry about your parole. Once you do this therapy, you'll be going home, you know? And like I said, that's why I met Jack, and I started doing this learning together with a bunch of Cambridge students. What am I going to bring to a bunch of Cambridge students that are studying law and different things? But there was this thing that was happening. That was the first jail that they'd done it in. And for me, being in the same room with Cambridge University students and feeling like I can't offer them anything, Jack stepped in and sat next to me, and he taught me, and Laura and different people, and, you know, Moses, and, you know, and Chris will also tell me, bro, you can do it, bro. You're smart. Don't worry. You've got real life experience that they don't have. So you bring that to the group.
Absolutely.
You know, and I aced that, I flied that, and I passed that. I got distinction and stuff like that. And I was like, what? I got distinction. And do you know what I mean? So, and that's how I got the Cambridge bursary through Cambridge University when I came out of Brixton, because I didn't get my parole after I finished Grendon, and I was one of the first youngest ever people to complete Grendon.
Yeah.
Me, Chris, Moses are the first ever young people to ever complete that place at that time. I don't know how many more there's been beyond after us, but we was, because they go there and they just crack and they just, you know, they bolt, because it's like, this is too much. You know, you're putting us around all these crazy people and we don't want to be around these crazy people. So that therapy was the most toughest thing I've ever had to do in my life. You know, I still do therapy now.
Yeah, good for you.
Because I love it.
Good for you.
And it, you know, it's made me...
Do you feel like you found Rosca?
Yeah, I found myself again. Yeah, I'm so grateful for it. You know, it's been a journey, and I lost myself from a 5-year-old. You know, this dream that I had, I've always loved music, like playing in the bongos in the back garden with my dad. We had a big house. I'll be in the back garden with him playing bongos, and he used to deal with antiques as well. So he'll bring like different carpets and spears from the village and mask and all of this stuff. And you'll bring back like bongos. And I used to just be in the back garden playing with him and all of that stuff. You know what I mean? So going to a jail where I'm now focusing on my music. You know, Moses is engineering, Chris is teaching me how to proper structure my lyrics and stuff. And Moses is there teaching me, and Jack will come in and Jack will be like, what have you written today? Okay, spit some bars for me. Okay, there's a thing happening in a couple. Why don't you ask them if you can perform there? I'll perform there. Yeah. Chris will play the piano, this person or that person. So everyone encouraged me to be the best version of myself. And that's who I've always been, and that's who I've always wanted to be.
We got caught up in the wrong circles.
I got caught up in the wrong circles, and I had to deal with certain things and find myself again.
You're a good soul, man.
I try my best.
You are. You're a good soul. When we first spoke, and you were like, mate, I need an opportunity, and I was like, tell me a bit about it. I was like, mate, get on the podcast.
Yeah.
Let's get your story out there.
Yeah.
Tell me about what you want to achieve in music moving forwards now.
So I came home and I lost Jack through a terrible thing that happened at London Bridge that should have never happened, especially with someone that you're helping. And Jack was my mentor, and Jack was meant to manage me. We spoke about him. He was going to manage me and stuff like that. And I'll go to Cambridge, you know, and chill with him. And
how did you lose Jack?
Jack was sadly taken away from us at the last London Bridge terror attack. He was taken away from us at the London Bridge terror attack through a person that he also helped through the program that they did, Get Home. And that same person held extremist views and decided to come in and do something to someone that was just an amazing human being. You know, someone that stood hand in hand with us and said, you know what, you lot deserve a second chance. Like, no one's born this way, you know, you're not bad people. And he championed, you know, he was at a full front face of adversity, social justice, anything, you know, he fought hard for us. And Jack was the one that helped me fight my appeal and helped me get the right thing with alongside members from the Clink in Brixton and the other people. There's so many people that have helped me on this journey because they've seen who I'm really are, and they've been like, you know what, this guy does, you know, he deserves all of this. Like, why is he still in jail? Why is he still this? So Jack helped me through that, and he helped me get a bursary from Cambridge through, you know, the professors that was in charge of the program. So when I came home, I left Brixton. My son didn't even know I was coming on. He thought he was coming on the visit. So we surprised him. Bless him, he nearly fainted. And there was a lady, Victoria, just across and I was like, Victoria, what are you doing? And she's like, big brown envelope. She's like, you got a bursary for Cambridge University. And I was like, what? So I had done Cambridge for a while. You know, I'd done creative writing and music, you know, and that's where I've really started applying myself. So with music, I started doing things that I felt like, you know, some people are doing this and I'm feeling the pressure, you know, and Jack always told me, don't feel the pressure, do things that align with Rosca. I like the Rosca that talks about the journey. I like Rosca that sings about people's lives because you've lived it and you can tell the story. But unfortunately, when I came home, Dodge, I came home, they wanted to deport me and all different things. So I didn't have no papers, no place to stay, this and that. And I'm still going through the process now. You've not gone nowhere. You can't work. You can't do this. I wasn't allowed to go Cambridge till Cambridge University made a bit of noise about it. And then luckily for me, there was this lovely Asian man at the desk who said, Rosca, they're lying to you. Like when I used to go and sign on every day. And he said, you can actually go and study at Cambridge, but we can't change the work thing and all of this stuff. So up to this now, I've been doing my music and I'm doing well with it. And I'm now about to do certain things.
You're a proper talent, by the way.
Yeah, thank you, man.
A proper talent.
Thank you. I'm now about to do certain things with it, Dodge. And most of I've just had my first headline shows and stuff, and I've done in Jack's Memory in Cambridge and I've done one in Portsmouth, and I've now got a couple more headline shows, and I'm working on my first ever studio project. It's my first ever EP, and I'm so grateful because if I didn't do all this work, I won't be able to speak on what I'm speaking on in the project. So
you write in your own music as well?
I write my own music, and I also write, sometimes I get in a room with people and we just write.
No one's going to write better lyrics than you.
Nah.
From your life.
Nah.
Impossible.
No, impossible. No.
I think you're going to be smashing this, mate.
Thank you, brother.
And if there's anything I can do to help,
please
let me know. I'm definitely there for you.
Oh, thank you, Dodge. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. That means the world to me, man. That does mean the world. So, I've just been smashing studio, and I'm staying with my friend who I absolutely want you to meet. He plays for the Dub Pistols.
Yeah.
And, so I've just been in the middle of nowhere in the countryside. writing my whole EP, going to the studio in London, in Embassy Gardens, smashing it out, going back to the countryside, getting on the piano, he will get the guitar out. He's got an amazing partner who's got a voice of an angel. And literally we've just been creating, I've been creating, writing songs, and he's very balanced, and he's very like, he is. And he's all about, you know, practicing your breathing and your breath work and all of this stuff that I always been aware of, which I started to do, but now being around him, it's even more now, like it's, you know, and through that, I'm like, that's why I'm so like, I'm just like, nothing can really affect me. Nothing can really get in.
I don't think anything can affect you. What you've been through from 5 to 27 is mad. Like you were a man. You were a boy, but you were in a man's world at like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, in a man's world, not having a home. And fighting your way through. And
before, like when COVID hit, I used to stay with she used to call herself like my surrogate mum. Like she took me in, like she was lovely. Like she put me in the middle of nowhere. Like she's got a massive house in the middle of nowhere, and she gave me like the gym and stuff and bed in there and everything. Like it's like proper gaff, and I had everything that I needed there. And actually, she's one of the main people. She was one of the main reason why the IPP's been abolished. Because she's a lawyer.
Brilliant.
And she literally fought, and she still fights for the mandem now. You know, and she's like the forefront of everything. Like I'm not going to mention her name, but she's also a lawyer. And she literally, I go to HMP Coldenly. And she has a IPP group and a lifer group that she tends to, and she just there, and she goes to House of Parliaments or House of Commons and writes to them, her and another guy that's doing it. And then she knows a lot of people because she's quite, you know, well known, and she's very, you know, respected in her own rights in her field. And they're one of the main reasons why this IPP's been abolished. They're one of the main reasons why I've now come off my life license, because they've got it abolished. You know, so on my journey, I've had amazing people come in and help me and help me go into the right direction and be like, listen, your story's amazing, and your music, just keep writing. And when you're ready.
And you've got a good energy.
You've
got nice energy.
I try.
And you're very kind and humble and polite. And that was you, really. Before you got caught up in everything, right?
Because I had a good life, Dutch.
You had a good life.
And I've always, like, my dad's always, you know, when we was back home and you'll disappear, like, you know, when you're a young boy and your dad, you know, say to me and my bro, which I don't want to get into my brother because it's too deep and stuff, and my sis and different things like that, you know. But when my dad will leave, he's like, you guys are the man of the house, you know, and that used to make me feel good. So I've always been, okay, I've got responsibilities. I've got to look after my mum. I've got to look after my sister, you know, and bless my mum, and she's no longer with us. And my mum had like 3 years to live prior to me coming home. And my mum passed shortly after Jack passed. And like a year or something after. And imagine losing your best friend and your mentor, who's like your brother, like literally was like, I wouldn't class that guy as anything else than my brother. And then losing your mum, and you're going through so much. No one really knows what you're going through. Everyone's seeing you because I've got friends. I can get into a nice car if I want. I can ring a friend and put on a nice watch if I want. You know, no one really knows what you're going through, and you're trying to keep up appearances with everyone else, and it just got to a point where I was like, you know what? Forget all of this stuff. I'm just going to be me. And I want to be authentic. And I want to be myself. And whoever doesn't like that, but it doesn't mean like that doesn't affect me. I just want to be myself. I've always been this person. I want to make music that inspires people and, you know, does amazing things and stuff like that. And I just want to be me. And this is just the road I want to go down.
This is a whole new chapter for you, mate.
Thank you.
This is a whole new chapter.
Thank you,
When we
brother.
spoke a couple of months ago, I was like, mate, you need to come on.
You
need to tell your story, because the snippets you were telling me, I was like, Jesus Christ, like, this is Yeah.
Even getting there today was a tough
Yeah,
one.
I was going to say, even today was a drama getting there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a tough one, but we got here.
We got here on a bank holiday. Fair play to you.
Yeah.
Rosca.
Yes, Dodge.
Yeah, mate. I've loved this.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you so much as well, because you've been, you've been so kind as well. Like just getting back to me and all of this, like just talking to me and stuff. Like even when we first spoke, like your energy's so like, and when I came through, you came out, you hugged me and you shook my hand and stuff. And now we're just here talking after like a couple months of planning. It's just great. You know,
it's quality.
It's amazing. And I'm grateful to you. And I'm grateful to our mate over there as well.
Mate. This is all good. This is all good energy. And do you know what? I'm well connected in the music world. As you know, I own a festival as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna open up some doors for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Before we finish up here, where can people find you?
People can find me on Rosca on Instagram at the minute. That's where they'll see everything.
And you spell that Rosca?
So it's Rosca.
Yeah.
And then it's Rosca's World. Because literally I want to take people into my world. Yeah. So it's Rosca WRLD. Rosca's World on Instagram.
Yeah. Anyone out listening out there, please get in contact. And if you're in the music industry, have a listen. Serious stuff what he's doing here. And no, like I said before, the lyrics, no one's going to beat your lyrics at all.
Thank you. I can't wait to do Bournemouth 7 for
you,
mate.
Well.
Yeah,
I'm doing come and play at the festival, aren't
I'm doing the festival. I'm doing a couple more this year.
I'm looking forward to watching you live.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I got a whole band. That's how I like to do it. Like I got a band, like it's a whole setup, trumpet player, bass player, guitarist, pianist, drummer. I wanna do things how I've always wanted to do things, and this is how we've done things in Grendon.
Yeah.
So I've gone back to my recipe that works for me and being authentic with it.
Yeah.
And making music for the people.
Rosca, you're an absolute gentleman, mate.
Thank you.
I've absolutely loved this.
Thank you.
Yeah, and anyone out there, go and check him out.
Thank you.
Yeah, if anyone wants to hear a part 2, because I know there's a lot more stories here.
Oh yeah, we got a lot.
A lot more stories. If you want a part 2, leave a part 2, leave a message down there. But mate, you're a star.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're a good man. I wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you so much.
Respect.
Thank you.
Cheers. Fucking hell, mate. I've got goosebumps.
Have you?
I have got fucking goosebumps.
Loved it.
Mate, that is brilliant.
Yeah, thank you so much.
My God.
Man. Yeah.
What a fucking mess. I've had 300 people on here. That is a mad story. I knew when we first connected, we got on like instant, like, I like this, I like the energy.
Yeah,
I like the energy here.
Yeah.
When you start telling me about Congo and coming over here and camps and lost your parents and then you got banged up, I was like, this is just mad. This is like chaos from 5 to 27.
Yeah.
And to hear it come from the horse's mouth now, and what I like about it, people only come here once, with redemption.
Yeah.
I've done my time, I've done bad, but actually all of that really wasn't me.
Yeah.
I was putting this front on.
Yeah.
Got caught up in the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
I thought you spoke brilliantly.
You spoke really well.
Thank you.
Yeah, you spoke really well.
I think you wanted to say.
Come out well.
Across very well.
Yeah,
very articulate.
Thank you.
For someone who's
listen to people
all the time. Yeah. For someone who's it's not first language.
Well,
and you spend that much time
in
society and
yeah. Well, that was really powerful.
Thank you.
I think people are going to really love that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking what we do, you got all the notes, look.
A page and a half of notes.
Oh, wow.
That's like one-liners. They'll cut them up and they bang them out across Insta and TikTok and and all that sort of stuff. Thanks for watching, guys. If you'd like to see someone on the show, leave a comment below. And if you haven't already, do us a favour, show us a bit of love, press the subscribe button, and it allows us to grow the show even bigger and bigger each week. Nice one.